No, we need children. We need more conscious souls. We need that even more so. Absolutely. I had this idea too. I will never bring a child into this world at some point. I was caught up in my own black pill doom and gloom trauma response. The Matrix has you through other forces. There's even other forces may suggest that don't bring a child in the world. And I have to say, I know David Icke talks about it, and that person you mentioned, I respectfully disagree on all levels. I've written an article about this, addressing this topic called the Reincarnation Soul Recycling Matrix Trap. Is Earth a soul entrapment prison? And then I make the case for why it's not, on all levels. And, in this case, in this writing also make the case that, again, no disrespect on the personal level, but when we talk about reincarnation, past life, all of that, I take more the account from masters who have gone there, who have true enlightened avatars, who have, through direct experience, more to say that than maybe a conspiracy researcher, even more to say some people who had just near-death experiences, right? And also for me, that idea that reincarnation is a trap and this is solar recycling on Earth is a trap, don't want to come back here. Ironically, that idea, thought, belief is, in my view, created by these hostile forces to want you to have that belief, right? Yeah. And I've studied in depth about earthbound spirits. There's definitely, I'm not saying when you die, you go to heaven and it's heaven and everything's forgiven. No, there's the bardo, there's different things that are happening. But also what I realized with the great work, esoteric work, the level of being, your level of consciousness, your level of soul embodiment will determine what you experience after death. So the best you can do is the work right now, right here, to come in alignment, with your true self, your soul being, with the divine, right? Then, because whatever you suppress, there will be, even in the shamanic tradition, they talk about the spirits of trauma you need to confront after death. Whatever you have suppressed and not worked through, you will have to also face in the afterlife. It doesn't just go away. It's not like this oversimplified heaven or hell and stuff, but there's karmic laws. That's another thing. Like, I see a lot of this in this fringe, I call it the fringe New Age movement, sorry. Yeah. They believe that karma is not real. Karma is a program. Like, yes, karma has been abused throughout the ages, very oversimplified, but it's a deep spiritual law, and I highly recommend reading Karma and Rebirth by Sri Aurobindo, right, to really understand the nuance by some avatar who is enlightened. And again, even an article I wrote, the last thought I want to have when I die is, oh my shit, it's a trap. I don't want to come back here. This belief can literally get you stuck as an earthbound spirit. That an earthbound spirit is when you die, people are diseased who don't make the transition because of trauma, because of many other things. They're stuck in the earthbound astral realm, right? Don't make the transition when they actually have to go to the light. That's the worst thing I think you can do, not going to the light. That can keep you entrapped as an earthbound, which I also got confirmed by Thomas Maya. I don't know if you heard of him. He wrote the book, The COVID Vaccines from a Spiritual Perspective. I wrote a couple articles about it, about the detrimental spiritual effects of the COVID vaccine and how it affects the afterlife. Really fascinating work. I've written 2 in-depth articles about it. And he's an amazing man. He's already a bit older. He's an anthroposophist, deep into Rudolf Steiner's work. He has his own clairvoyant abilities. He's written many books, so he can really perceive spirits. He can communicate to the dead. He can see forces, beings, and all of that. And he says, what the real trap is nowadays with the COVID vaccine, with the transhumanism, materialism, that the souls get stuck in earthbound. So it interrupts the reincarnation cycle, because at some point they can be helped and they'll be guided back to the light. But then on top of it, I think this is the biggest negative PSYOP I unfortunately feel many truthers fall into, the idea that reincarnation is a trap. You just literally giving the key to the kingdom, so to speak, because we need to, that's soul evolution over lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. As we grow through the experience, and reincarnation, rebirth has its purpose for that matter, right? So again, not to dive too deep and go into that topic, I recommend people to check out that article on my website, and also from inner experience. So because, like you said, that belief is, in my view, a matrix program because it's based on fear. It disempowers you. It gives all the power away to like, oh my God, we are trapped by other forces and all of that. And not having a spiritual vision of really understanding the evolution of consciousness over lifetimes and lifetimes in the bigger picture. Hence, I recommend reading really the works of truly enlightened beings, like, for example, Integral Yoda, Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo has done a lot for me. He's, in my view, the last enlightened, incarnated avatar we had. And when you read his works, not an easy reading. The Life Divine, The Synthesis of Yoga. He has a book on karma and rebirth, puts it in a really, really higher context of what's really going on. And how it's necessary. And also that it's not about escaping life, that we need to be right here, right now, spiritualizing, not escaping, because that's the old religions, right? That's a trap of the old religions, be it the Christian rapture and into heaven and, and all of that, or the old Indian tradition of just escaping Maya and just being samadhi and not coming back here, right? Or the New Age has the same thing of just ascension into 5D and we're not going to come back here. And then you have this new fringe movement, oh, this is a prison planet, I'm not going to come back here. It's the same program manifested in different ways. When in fact, as Sri Aurobindo said, and I said as well, we need to be right here, spiritualize humanity, ourselves and the earth. We are here, we are meant to be. And I know in the depth of my being, when I truly connect to that, even my meditative state, that I want to be here, my true self.